Good morning, Rob here. I'm waiting for my session to show up. It's going to be a real quick one. I kind of screwed up. I messed up. I'll explain it in a minute, but I just want to give you a couple of quotes that I thought were interesting. I read them this morning. I have to do with ideology. One was that there was a criticism about our modern culture, and that is that we're in trouble when ideology becomes more important than art. And I'm referencing oftentimes in movies, which is an art form, and stories, when things become woke and or possessed with some sort of an ideology, then that's not a good sign. The other one too that I read I found it very interesting, was that ideology tells you what to think. Philosophy tells you how to think. Kind of like that. Anyways, what happened was I screwed up. I did a photo shoot. I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos for a company, and they wanted one of their executives or key people photographed, and they sent me some pictures with an outdoor scene. They wanted foliage in the background, and they wanted a typical studio lighter backdrop. And I used one of my scenic backdrops for the outdoor. They didn't like that. To them, it didn't work. I don't know whether or not their take on it was valid. And I often get into somewhat of a disagreement or we have a discussion to try and come to terms with where we may not see things the same way. Usually with the creative directors or the graphic designers. Sometimes they get some weird ideas. Or we just have a miscommunication when I'm talking to the departments that are creating all this stuff. And you know what? They're not always right. And I'm not always right. But, we got to talk about it in order to get it sorted out. So in this particular case, I think I screwed up. However, I do my best. And so they wanted these two backdrops for this person I'm going to photograph. And so my wife contacted the guy. He wasn't happy. I gotta mention this too. He sent me or our studio an email the day after the photo shoot to say thank you. I love getting emails like that, and it's going to become a testimonial, and I will be able to use it on the website. Because he said, it was really nice meeting you. He had a good time. He really enjoyed the photo shoot. However, he wasn't happy that I had to have him come back. And I think he's here now. I'm not sure. I may have to stop recording and continue this later. I want to talk about procrastination, and I want to talk about time management. I think that's him. All right. Okay. Hold on, guys. I'm going to get this done. All right. I'm back. So, just finished the shoot. We were chit-chatting. This is kind of strange, but I want to mention it. Oftentimes when I'm at a wedding reception and the DJ, I always talk to the DJ and I check out their equipment, because I used to DJ weddings back in the 80s, and when I was a teenager back in the 70s, I used to DJ all the teen dances at the local church and the local playground. I'm a bit of a speakers and amplifiers, and anyways, my point is this: I do this almost always. Check out their equipment at the wedding reception. And even if it was a brand name I didn't understand, I had no idea, I'd always go up to the DJ and say, you got some really nice equipment here. This is amazing. And they would love hearing that. So a bit of a scam, I know. But, they're proud of their equipment most of the time. And most of the time it was pretty decent. If they had some like really high-end stuff, I'd be really impressed, especially with the sound. So that was one way to connect. Connect when you're talking to people. You want to connect, always building allies, always building connections, always building support amongst my community in the industry, which is obviously wedding photography, so and other industries. So just something to think about. Talk about what interests them. So when this guy showed up, I noticed he had a big Ford F-150, and after I did the shoot, I said, "Hey, nice truck, I like the Ford F-150s. They got one of the best reputations, which they do. You can do the research, and the reason why they have one of the best reputations is because their engines are solid, and the reason their engines are solid is because they haven't changed it over the decades. They just improved and improved, and they didn't do any radical changes. Usually when you change things up and you kind of, you're starting from scratch, there's going to be problems that you got to figure out. But anyways, the reason I say that is because just before COVID hit, the year before COVID hit, we were going to buy a minivan for cargo space, and I started doing some research. And then when COVID hit, we sort of put that on hold. And I still did research and looked into different options. It was either going to be a mini cargo van, like the Nissan, I think MV200, or a Toyota minivan, or a Ford F-150. I think I hear a bear. We got all kinds of bears, even though I'm close to downtown. Anyways, yeah, so anyway, we started talking about vehicles, and it was kind of interesting, and he went on and on and on. So anyways, he showed up. I apologized for having him come back. I know he wasn't happy about that. I was talking about that earlier when my wife contacted him and said, we got to get you back out preemptively. Now, this is a good strategy to think about, and I've done this before. I know they're not happy. I know they don't want to be there. Most of the time when it comes to these photo shoots of this nature, it's they're not necessarily motivated. So I made sure to tell Tina to tell him that he'll be in and out in 5 minutes. Bada boom, bada bing. And that's took less than a minute. So I'll show you some tech. I'll show you the tech, and I'll talk a little bit more about procrastination. So I got the Godox. The Godox. There's my piece of junk car. It's a sewing machine. I call it the sewing machine. It's not a real car. It thinks it is. So there's a Godox BM 600, which is manual. I'm going to turn it off. I freaking love this thing. I was thinking about it the other day. I thought, I should buy a second one as backup. If this thing died on me doing a family shoot, like I did a family shoot last night, I did a video as well. If it died on me, what the hell? It's so reliable though, but I don't want to take it for granted. Likewise, okay, I have the Sony A7R2. Let me get this down here. Hold on. I'll try and lower it without slamming. Woohoo! All right, that's the. I can't get this camera to work. That's the 85mm Batis 1.8. So I shot this one at, I'm just checking, 3.5, 1/100th of a second at ISO 100. And the output on this thing was 1/6. You can see it. 1/64th of a power. I shoot 100% manual. I just sort of shoot and I adjust. I do a visual. I don't use a light meter because my light meter broke. It's probably not really broken because it's I keep thinking it's an $800 light meter. It can't break on me. That's just not going to happen, but it doesn't appear to be working. So I haven't really figured it out insofar as what I need to do. I'm just putting this away here. I want to show you something here. So I got the transmitter. Now, see this here? That goes on the bottom of the hot shoe where the transmitter slips on top of the camera. I have always a backup transmitter in case things break. And yesterday when I was driving to my family photo shoot, I was with my wife, she was my assistant. I was telling her, I said, and I do this on purpose, I plant seeds. I told her, I said, I would like to maybe, I said I should have brought the AD200 as a backup. I forgot to bring it. I always like backups. I have 2 camera systems with me as backup. So I have a total of 3 bodies. I have my main one. I mean, check this out. Look at this. That's like that car of mine. A lot of mileage, and it's just wearing out. I mean, look at the scuff marks. You can see the scuff marks. The paint's wearing out. Camera still works though. So, I mean, this is, I don't get obsessed with the newer technology in cameras. If it works, it works. So, anyways, yeah, backup systems are important to me, and also planting seeds into my wife's brain. So I said to her, I said I would have liked to have brought a AD200 as a backup in case the 600 craps out on me. And then I said, it'd be really good to have 2 BM200s, 600s. Sorry, I got 2 AD200s and 1 600, and thinking about getting 2 600 BMs, both manual, and one is backup. But there are times when I'd like to have 2 working on a big family shoot, so I could just flood it with light and not worry about the power output. Because sometimes with a larger family, especially if it's really bright out and I'm going high-speed sync, that flash, that it's working hard. It's working hard. It's really working hard. So it can do it, but to ease up on it, having 2 of them would help. I'm always looking at ways to sort of improve. Anyways, let's talk about procrastination really quick. I think procrastination is a very common struggle with almost everybody. It's just human nature. It's called delayed gratification. And it's something I think that I've generally gotten a handle on. I was never good at it before, but as I got older, as I got wiser, as I got more strategic in the way my business is, and the way to get through procrastination is this: make it a top priority. I have a rule. Okay, when I'm in the process of doing a project, and that could be a photo shoot, shooting a wedding, my rule is nothing matters more than what I need to do to get that completed. It's top priority. If I have to go in 6 in the morning, I got to go in at 6 in the morning and get her done. And it's a rule that serves me well. Let me give you 2 examples. So if we do a Fairy Day event, which we do several every year, 5 or 6, as soon as I'm done shooting, I pack up, I put everything away. As soon as the orders start coming through, I asked Tina, I said, would you just send me a text, take a picture of the order, and I will start working on them. So by the time she's done proofing and viewing, what was John Radford saying yesterday? He says, we don't call it viewing anymore. We call it something else. I forget. We did a live stream with him, the Photo Buzz with John Butler. He says a viewing sounds like a funeral. Anyways, as soon as we're done all the sales, it takes her 2 days. By the time she gets back to the studio, or by the time she's done all the viewing, the orders are ready to go to the lab. I just have this rule in my brain. It's got to be done right away. And that's a regiment. It's a regiment I put myself on. You got to put yourself on regiments. I have this rule. I'm not going to bust the rule up and break it. I'm not going to change things. Okay, I'll give you a second example. This one's weird, but work with me. So I've been for 5-6 years doing the Wim Hof method, which is a cold water immersion. If you want to know more about that, go to Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss. He interviewed the Iceman, Wim Hof, 5 or 6 years ago. And that was what got me into it. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube too. If you want to watch a good one, go on YouTube and search Vice, the Iceman, or Wim Hof. There's a good 40-minute documentary. So I've been doing it for years, and it's exhilarating. It's good for health. So it's a cold water immersion every morning. You jump in the shower like freaking ice cold, man. You get used to it. It's actually not that bad. So I have a rule that I developed early on. It's a 2-part rule. I'm in the bathroom ready to jump into the cold shower. The minute my foot touches the bathtub, I can't stop. I got to walk in, close the curtains, turn the water. I can't stop. That's my rule. Second rule is I can't scream because you want to scream. And so I came up with this, and I've been very, very loyal to those rules and all the other rules. So that's a good way, in my opinion, to kill procrastination. Just come up with a set of basic rules to do with different situations that you have to deal with. So, so you might be procrastinating a phone call, and you might say to yourself, okay, I'm going to schedule this, and my rule is I do not cheat myself or betray myself or otherwise compromise my integrity, because it's all about you. I mean, really, all of this stuff is about you, and it all helps you align yourself with your true authenticity, your true path in life. So it's pretty basic stuff, and it's an area where you have an opportunity to really push beyond and to shine. And it's discipline. It takes discipline. It's not easy. But if you implement that sort of a regimental thinking onto that, overlay it onto your life, you'll benefit. And I think the biggest benefit is what I just mentioned, is that you get to be authentic. You discover where you fit in this grand scheme we call life. So, something to think about. I hope this helps. All right, I'm out of here. I got to go back to the studio and download. Talk to you later, guys. Bye for now.